vice president in our lifetimes is in Australia. Yes, Kamala Harris reportedly earned hundreds of thousands of dollars to speak at a real estate conference on the Gold Coast. I'm serious. She was headlining with other really serious world figures like Maurizio, you know, he's from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Yes, real estate agents, or realtors as the Yanks call them, paid upwards of $1,500 to hear pearls of wisdom from the word salad specialist herself. And wowie, didn't they get their money's worth? She pulled out this all-time Kamala classic.
They see what can be, and they're unburdened by what has been.
Profound, still profound, the 10,000th time I've heard her say it. Indeed, the entire experience was reportedly a hot mess of incoherent word salads. The Daily Mail reports Kamala Harris left the audience baffled as she laughed and talked about Playboy magazine covers and launched into a confusing word salad after being asked about the importance of humility. But I want to know more about the Playboy magazine segue, please.
She would say, you look at, we're in the store or whatever, you look at the cover of Playboy magazine. Let me just tell you, the reason that people are looking at these things, understand why they were developed, for the perpetuation of the human species.
Okay, that made a lot of sense. I'm sure that will help real estate agents sell plenty of houses, as will this bit of inspiring rhetoric about never accepting the word no.
I don't hear no. I eat no for breakfast. I don't hear no until maybe the 10th time. I cannot tell you the many times that it has been explicitly or implicitly said to me, it's not your time. You're not ready. They're not ready. Nobody like you has done this. And then when I love, it's going to be a lot of hard work. Don't you listen.
Oh, Kamala, you should listen, because it's not your time. You're not ready. We don't want you. You are not president. The American people said no in emphatic fashion last November. And hopefully you've heard the message, because no means no. Now, see, Kamala Harris's visit down under is making news in America. Finally, she appeared at a real estate conference, Josh. She was there alongside reality TV stars, so that's the sort of level we're talking about, and she had all sorts of keen insights.
You have the ability to understand the context in which you live, the context in which others live. You're more likely to then connect with them and understand what's important to them. But if you are in an interaction where you don't have that level of awareness, they will be aware of that. I mean, this is the thing that I've also known about life, and I'm sure everyone here understands.
She even did some of her finest work about being unburdened by what has been. And there was this Playboy magazine anecdote.
You look at, we're in the store or whatever, you look at the cover of Playboy magazine. Let me just tell you, the reason that people are looking at these things, understand why they were developed, for the perpetuation of the human species.
Josh, that could have been your president.
Yeah, that laugh is just so unbearable, is it not? I mean, they called her the cackler in chief for a reason there. I mean, that laugh just makes you just want to curl up into a fetal position and pretend like you never heard that for the rest of your entire life there. I mean, look, on the one hand, I'm inclined to say that that was a word salad. The problem with calling it a word salad is that every so often a salad can actually be quite tasty and nutritious. There was absolutely nothing tasty and nutritious about what we just heard there. I mean, this is a woman who is just profoundly untalented. The number one thing, Rita, that I have never has never ceased to amaze me about Kamala Harris every time that I've seen her, and I followed her career for a very long time. She was a very prominent DA, prominent not because of her legal prowess, I might say, prominent only because of the disproportionate media attention that was shown her way. She was a prominent DA out in San Francisco. She was California Attorney General, Senator from California, Vice President. I followed her career for a long time. The thing that never ceases to amaze me is just how profound profoundly untalented this woman is. At some point, someone in the DNC brass saw someone who checked a few intersectional identity politics boxes, and they said, my God, we found the next talent and we are going to promote the living crap out of her and just promote her and give her every opportunity. And sure enough, they succeeded until they didn't, until she got shellacked in every single swing state by Donald Trump in the 2024 presidential election. But this woman just is not talented. She is not skilled. And frankly, it really kind of baffles me why she hasn't just retreated and gone in some Tony, 7 or 8 figure position in some consulting gig in the Fortune 500. I'm sure there are a lot of corporations that would pay her a lot of money to do these word salad sandwiches, whatever we're calling it there. But why she's trying to bother the folks down under about it, I have no idea, frankly.
Well, she almost failed her way up to the Oval Office. She was almost president. So that in itself is astonishing. Someone who has really not done particularly well in any of those prominent roles she's been in, and yet kept getting pushed because she ticks so many of those boxes.
Speaking of which, almost as entertaining was, of course, Kamala Harris's trip down under to Australia, where she was paid a king's ransom by a woke real estate company to speak about, well, anything but why she lost the election. Maybe John McGrath, the estate agent, should have asked BLM's Patrice Claus instead. She's the expert on real estate deals. But anyway, Queensland got Queen Kamala instead.
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris given a rousing reception at the Australasian Real Estate Conference. Guests put through strict security screenings after paying $1,000 a ticket to hear her talk for an hour.
The dream of home ownership is one of the greatest challenges that they face.
Personally, I would have paid $1,000 not to hear Kamala's pearls of wisdom such as this.
But if you are in an interaction where you don't have that level of awareness, they will be aware of that. I mean, this is the thing that I've also known about life, and I'm sure everyone here understands. The vast majority of human beings are very intelligent.
Meanwhile, while Mum was away, Kamala's stepdaughter released a video of herself trying on some new clothes.
I feel like I want to do ballet moves. Like, I'm usually not a capri girl because I have pretty sturdy calves, but I mean, that silhouette.
Favourite time of the week to talk to our favourite person in the world, the wonderful Megyn Kelly, joins us from the United States. How are you, Rockstar?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, look, I'm always great, but I've just done a new level because Australia was touched by greatness in the past few days. I know that this little old island continent doesn't make a lot of news around the world, but we were changed for the better because a true global leader just graced us with her presence for a day and a half. Kamala Harris was here, and just an example of what you've missed out as a president. She was addressing a real estate conference. I mean, we're lucky, aren't we, to just get a little bit of this gold dust, that the realtors of Australia are what bring her out of hiding.
Like, for what lessons exactly? First of all, she's never been a salesperson. Don't you have to know sales and very well to be a realtor? Like, that's one of their greatest skills. You'd think they'd want somebody who is an excellent salesperson. She's never been in the public sector doing any sort of sales work whatsoever, other than her fake little stint at McDonald's. But let's face it, those burgers sell themselves. So what could be gleaned from her? First of all, you got to be a little concerned. Like, it'd be one thing if she were in hot demand over here and like she just made time for the Aussies because that's out of the goodness of her heart. Nobody wants her. Like, she had to go over there where her reputation didn't so much precede her in order to get a check. So my friends, we need to be a little bit more discerning in our invitations. And then the bits that I saw, because earlier today, at least, it wasn't put out on video, so we were just getting little sneak peeks at it from what my friends over there, got and put online. It was just more inanity, saying absolutely nothing about anything, with a huge windup to every single quote unquote point she was about to make. She makes you work so hard. You have to sift through 500 words to get to the 4 that actually do have meaning, but then you realize that those two are entirely empty.
Now, I would hate to suggest that somebody like Kamala Harris is basically just giving a version of the same speech wherever she goes, which of course is the laziest possible thing, and they get paid a huge chunk of change. Can I read from one of the newspaper accounts of what she said? Quote, she said,
please do.
Real estate agents could be considered, quote, civic leaders for their role in connecting buyers with suitable homes. The point... She just turns up anywhere and insert industry or who I'm talking to and tell them that they're civic leaders. They're flogging apartments around Australia and beachside on the Gold Coast. Civic leaders, please.
I'm sure they don't even see themselves like that. Like, they know a lot about houses and what would make somebody happy and what's a good deal and what's not. But civic leaders, what is that? That's like your preacher, probably your mayor, you know, I don't know, some activist in town who's taken up an issue that's important to the town, like no windmills offshore. I don't know, but it's probably not the realtor. And that's just, of course, her empty pablum, because CAA took her on as a client, this big agency that I used to be with too. And I'm sorry to tell you, but you guys were the only takers. So it's very, someone was really excited until they found out, like, literally no one else wanted her. I shudder to think what the check looked like. They cannot get her any gigs over here. No one wants to hear from her. She, not only could she not sell real estate the way the people listening to this show likely can, she couldn't sell herself. So why would you think she would have something of value to say to you about sales, which is the business of real estate? Like, she didn't win the presidency. She didn't win the nomination ever. She couldn't. She failed miserably when she actually did run. She couldn't sell herself as an inspirational woman, nor as a woman from Puerto Rico or Jamaica or where else were her accents from? She couldn't sell herself as any of those things. All she really is an out-of-work lawyer. So I mean, maybe you should ask her about contract law. She might be able to say something valuable on that front. Otherwise, it was a waste of everyone's time.
See, I was disappointed that she didn't try an Australian accent because, as you say, during a campaign, there she was, you know, if she was in the South, she'd try to sound a little Southern. And what was it that your daughter, doesn't your daughter have a little piece of advice as to how you can try to sound
how you
a little
can
Australian?
sound Australian. You say, razor blades.
Razor blades.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Kamala
Razor
Harris.
blades.
Have you got any razor blades? See, that would have worked. It would have worked. Maybe I was trying to think.
What I'm actually saying is rise up lights. I'm in American English, I'm saying rise up lights, but it translates into Australian English into razor blades. but I sound like a local, don't I?
Absolutely, and you are welcome on any of our conferences anywhere, and they'll pay you better than she did. All right.
Oh my God, I know. I should be offended that I wasn't invited first. I'm much bigger in Australia than Kamala Harris is. Where's my invitation, realtors?
Well, I'm sure he's still more feared than Joe Biden was, and I'm sure he's more feared than Kamala Harris if she won the election. And that is who I have to ask you about, because the former Vice President has visited Australia. She spoke on stage at the 2025 Australasian Real Estate Conference on the Gold Coast over the weekend, and she is being slammed for delivering word salad after word salad. Here she is.
You have the ability to understand the context in which you live, the context in which others live. You're more likely to then connect with them and understand what's important to them. The vast majority of human beings are very intelligent, regardless of their education level, regardless of where they're from, and intelligent enough to know whether when you are looking at them, you are looking at them with a level of respect. They will know that you are someone who is actually interested in their life and their reality and their fears and their dreams, or not.
We spoke about this when it was announced that Kamala Harris would be paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to speak for an hour at this real estate conference. But now she's done it. She's spoken to the audience there. Listening to some of those clips, what's your reaction? Was it as bad as you thought it would be?
I think it's worse. I mean, what vacuous babble that is, but that's what she's known for. I mean, let's be frank, she was a circus act. at this conference. She wasn't there to enlighten the Australian property industry about payroll taxes, building costs, over-regulation, planning approvals, building approvals, the shortage of contractors, the price of materials, stamp duty, et cetera, et cetera. These are the things that are of real interest to real estate agents who were at that conference, thousands of them, and people in the building industry. She comes along and gives this, as you say, word salad, this vacuous babble. I mean, she was just a circus act. Let's be frank. No one learned anything from her speech. She was there for pure entertainment purposes, but good on her. I gather she got $500,000 for that speech. If she can get $500,000 for saying that, I would have done it for $400 myself.
Okay.
And I know something about the property industry, so no, what a waste of space. What a waste of space.
Michael Kroger, we have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us on Power Hour.
Thanks, Gab.